Thank you.
All right. Go ahead.
Thank you, Kirsten. Hi, everyone. Thank you for showing up today. It's a really nice day out, so I understand why people aren't, myself included. I'm surprised I'm here because it's so nice out. But thank you for coming. Today is about confidence. And for people like myself who maybe say yes without thinking about stuff. I just want to first say thank you again for showing up. Okay, so my presentation is called Don't Shut Up, Just Stand Up. And it's for people pleasers like yourself. And I'm just going to go straight to the slides. And here we go. Okay, so as you can see, Confidence Toolkit. This is available online, and I'm just going to go over who I am, and then I'm going to ask you why you're here today, and I'm going to go over an overview of the toolkit and how you can get it, the full one online, but you're also going to get a PDF version. So I think Kirsten's going to be sending that to you and with a feedback form. And then the fourth thing is we're going to go over some exercises. Take inventory is the first tool, and then affirmations is the second. And the sixth part of this that I'm going to go over is setting up boundaries. It's not on the toolkit, but I'm going to show you how putting three things together does help you with your boundaries and what boundaries are. Number 7 is what will keep you strong throughout this process. And I'm going to give you a little hint on how to keep yourself motivated and feeling like you know how to get yourself back into that state of at least feeling somewhat confident, or at least knowing how to move through the uncomfortability and the feelings. 8 is the next steps after you do this toolkit. What do you do next? How do you use this in the real day, everyday life? And number 9, I'll give you some questions, but I will open the floor up after I talk about myself. So just think about why you're here today, maybe a particular incident or something specific, or it could be completely broad. So who I am, my name is Ray, and you'll see this is my spare bedroom with my big computer. My past is that at about 5 years old to 8 years old, my parents were going through something, and my dad was getting recovery from alcohol. So I went straight into Alatot, and ever since then, I've been dealing with how to deal with feelings. And so that's really what this is about today. It's about learning how to trust yourself through all of the confusing messages outside and inside, and how do you differentiate which one's which. So then I went to RISD and got a sculpture degree, and then went straight out of RISD and Rhode Island School of Design. And then I got certified as a yoga instructor, learned how to meditate, learned how to teach meditation, taught for about 5 years, and then got lost. I'd been dancing all during my childhood, and just stopped moving my body for probably about 7 or more years, and finally found myself by starting a business and going on my own as a virtual bookkeeper. By doing that, it helped me get back to my body and start dancing again. And that changed my life forever, because I think the body is actually the catalyst for getting back to yourself and feeling confident, truly confident. So we're going to talk about a little bit about that today. So now I'm a life coach, and what I'm really been doing is just some free talks. So you can find me on Facebook as well doing this. So story of why I do this is because it helped me not only start my own business about 11 years ago, but also come out as polyamorous. So coming out as something that, doesn't jive with everybody around you is very difficult. So I had to learn how to take care of myself and how to do something really hard. And these are some of the tools. This right here, the confidence toolkit for people pleasers, is the first step on what I call the coming out process. And then the next one, the next step, is the manifesting magic manual. And I'll show you that at the end. Okay. So I'm going to open the floor up and ask you why you are here today. And I'm going to, so you can see how it says can't find love, confused, stuck, wanting to feel worthy, don't trust yourself, not sure what you want. These are really broad. So anybody want to share, either put your hand up or put in the comments something that's happening for you that might feel a little like you want to go through, you want to learn how to be more confident around.
You can answer in the chat or
I
unmute, or if you wanted to send a message to me, I can read your answer out loud as well.
give you a little time to think about that. So for me, I know it's hard to even just talk out loud, right? Because this is part of the confidence work. To do something a little brave and be the first person is always really scary. For me, it is sometimes just standing up for myself and speaking out loud. That is really hard, especially if what I'm seeing the people around me or the messages around me are saying, this isn't what I believe. Then how do you, especially with people that you love or respect, how do you voice that? What do you do to set the scene for you to feel safe, but also for you to do what feels best for you? Just see, there's a chat. Okay, that is fine. I'm just opening the floor up. I very much appreciate a no. So thank you for not expressing anything today, because that is your right. So here we're gonna go. Let's share again. Okay, so overview of the toolkit. And okay, so the toolkit, 7 tools: take inventory, affirmations, care package, containerize, ritual, your why, and then visualizing it all together. This is what it kind of looks like when you get it. You can sign up for the full package. It's free by using the QR code on the screen. It's also raylifecoaching.com/free-resources, or you can wait for the email, which is the smaller packet, which goes over all the questions. But we're going to go a little deeper today on at least 3 of the steps today, of the tools today. Okay. So what you get is not only the work through worksheets and the questions related to each tool, but you also get a meditation, a visualization, and how to use the toolkit. The toolkit specifically is meant for practice. It's meant for you to use on as much as a daily basis, preferably before your day starts. It's a way to create a habit so that you're doing it when it's easy, so that when it's hard, it's easier to like roll right into these habits. Okay, so we're going to go over what is confidence. Like, it sounds so funny, but confidence is kind of confusing. I think a lot of us think it's about something else. So let's just go over what Merriam-Webster says: a feeling or a consciousness of one's power or of reliance on one's circumstance. faith or belief that one will act in a right or proper or effective way. You'll notice that I cross some things off. And the reason is because I don't think it relates to the topic that we're talking about right now. Right and proper or even effective brings finality to it in a way that almost makes it sound like somebody else would know what that is. But I'm going to bring it back to us, our independent selves, and that we actually have a Geiger system. We have something in us that knows what feels good. And that comes back to the body again. We're going to do an exercise later about that. The quality or state of being certain. I crossed off certain because I don't think confidence is about certainty. And that it sounds like I just contradicted myself in that saying that we know independently what is right for us. But I think it's a work in process. We are in change, we have time, and we learn from circumstance. And so there is really no certainty. It is always about being in the moment. So a relation of trust or intimacy, trust and intimacy, they're both kind of one and the same, because in order to be intimate, you also have to have trust. And that means with yourself, reliance on yourself, your own discretion, a communication made in secret. I don't think it's secret. I think we can tap into our own ability to communicate, our own connection to our knowing, a feeling or consciousness of one's power or reliance on one circumstance. Again, I just said the same thing, but the power is so important, and consciousness and feeling is so important. Faith is also very important. So we're going to go continue. So I'm going to go into just an overview of the toolkit, the 7 tools, take inventory and affirmation. So these two, part 1 of the toolkit, are meant to provide clarity on what you want and what you have to be to get it. So your affirmation really is about reforming. You know, if you're finding yourself in a place of either confusion or stuckness or talking badly about yourself because of the past, then we have to reform what is it that we need to be in order to feel that confidence. Number 2, and the third and the fourth tools, create structure for change to plant seeds into a healthy foundation. So containerize is about the structure, and it also is the format of creating your boundaries. And of course, that's the next step past the confidence toolkit, but it is really important. And then care package is your foundation. If you do not take care of yourself, you have nothing to stand on. And I actually think care package is actually the crux of this whole toolkit, because if you're not taking care of yourself, then you won't be able to listen to what you actually need to do and say and be. And then the 5th and 6th, part 3, ritual and remember why. This is kind of the mystical side of the toolkit. It's a way of tapping back into yourself in a way that's very symbolic, but also very meaningful. And so connect to the power of the unknown. That is the rituals. It's a way of bringing that unknown into substance, into action or form in your practice of a daily practice, and our own power as a reminder of purpose. So that's remembering why. Why are you even doing this? What is it that you really want? Maybe it's a value of freedom. Maybe it's a value of family. Maybe it's connection, whatever it is. Okay, so last part, move from belief, trust, faith, and flow of confident, inspired action. So visualize, we're going to combine all of these 6 into a visualization, and this will help create some clarity, but move you into inspired action eventually. It may just come to you because you're able to visualize, really know what you want, and you have tapped into your, now I'm going to forget the word, reticular system. What is it? It's your brain, a part of your brain that activates your ability to filter things to what you've said you want. And so the visualization helps your brain connect to that part and filter what's important and leave out the rest. So that's where inspired action will come. It'll either will come to you or you will know to go to it. Okay, so outcomes are being focused, clear, and having direction. You know where you have to redirect yourself and why. You know what it will take down to the details and your direction. You know what you have to do now, and nothing is more important. So that's really your big why, because it's like, I get it. Okay, so we're going to talk about taking inventory, but I want to open I just want to stop for a second and just ask, do you have any questions? I do see somebody did write something. I'll address it. Someone said that they want to trust their intuition again. They want to feel confident in making the decisions for themselves instead of trying to make other people happy, and really wants to feel worthy. And just feeling worthy is a struggle. I can only assume that whoever is on, other people on this call today probably have very similar needs or wishes in their life in some area, whether it be, it might be specific. You might find like you can trust your intuition at work for some reason, but you can't in other areas. And we're going to try to hone it down a little bit. And that's what the take inventory, the first step, is about. So I'm going to use this person's example to kind of help you through some of these questions. So let's share again the screen. Okay, so we're back now. So this is the first part, and it might be a little difficult to read because it's just a picture. In what situations are you feeling most unconfident? And then choose one of focus. And I'm going to show you like how you do that. Answer these questions, and we're going to go over these questions too. So what is not serving you now? So that might bring up that last one. It says, in what situations are you feeling most unconfident? There might be something that's actually in your way in order for you to get to that place. And actually that thing or what's not serving you might actually help you get to what your focus is. So maybe it's, I was just talking to a hairdresser yesterday. I got my hair done. And she was talking about just like ranting about people complaining. And then she started complaining about people complaining. And I was like, well, it's kind of funny how we do that. It's like that is in itself a symbol. What's in your way is the thing you're complaining about, but it also might be the thing you need to focus on for yourself. And then using that, like, how do I do that? Like, how do I stop myself for letting those people in my life kind of take up all of my space? What do I need to do? What do I need to feel confident in order to do that? You might, it's kind of a backwards way of finding that focus, but it sometimes is the easiest way because we're as humans, we like to go straight to the negative. It's very easy to find the negative before the positive. So let's do that. Your focus may be that to feel confident in standing up to these people and setting boundaries around your time, energy, and whatever else. Defining what's possible. Okay, so we're going to go, what do you not have confidence in? So we just talked about that. Excuses and judgments and beliefs. So the things that you may be saying to yourself, for instance, that hairdresser was like, hey, I can't do that because I may lose clients because clients come in and, maybe are negative influence on her life in some way. And, but they're also kind of sucking her energy. She could be taking in people who are better for her if she lets something go. So the excuse is just listen to what's happening in your brain. It might be about your past, what you think is possible, what other people are telling you should do. Focus and 3 questions. So we're going to go over this. So right here, you're going to get, if you sign up on my website, you're going to get all of the worksheets, and these are some of them. They kind of give you some examples of different ways of looking at these questions and taking inventory. It's very small, so I'm not going to go over them completely today. Oops, sorry. I'm like flipping all around. But we're going to go to, what do you not have confidence in? I want you to paint a picture right now. Take a little breath. And whatever thing that's unconfident for you, I want you to think of the words you're using when you describe it. You can even right now put it on a piece of paper. We're going to do an exercise of visualization, so it might be helpful. What feelings are there? What body language or sensations appear when you start thinking about this thing that you want to be more comfortable about or confident about? What actions and reactions would normally occur if you were in a situation where you're realizing like this, like the hairdresser, not being able to be like, hey, stopping someone from complaining or changing the subject or whatever they need to do, but they're not doing it. Instead, they're just allowing people in a certain way. So the next part is, where are you now? So taking inventory is all about assessing where you are now and actually allowing yourself to go through the feeling process and accept it for where it is. Because if you aren't aware of where you are, you're not going to be able to go to where you think you want to go. And I say this, it sounds kind of funny because I think sometimes we go, well, I know where I am. I've always been bad at X, Y, and Z. I have a long history of this. But do you really know where you are? Because I think right now is not there. And right now creates later. So do you really know where you are? Because you are not actually the past. You are just seeing it in front of you, because what you did then is what you're receiving now. And what you do now is what you're receiving later. So where are you now? What is happening in your brain? What are you saying to yourself? How are you feeling? That's what's now. So what are your excuses? And what do you believe right now? And is that serving you to go to where you need to go? Really? What would it sound like if you explained it in observation only instead of judgment words? Like kind of reconfiguring all of that. And has there ever been a time where you were ready or you weren't ready, but you had to do it anyway? And why? So I asked that question because there's been many a times that I just like have to do something and I don't feel ready at all, but I get to it. And maybe it's a push from the outside. Maybe like you get laid off and you're like, oh gosh, whatever the push is, it could be an internal push, like something just tells you you have to do this, but you don't feel ready, but you need to do it. And I want you to think about that, because that why that pushed you into something to do something is what we need. And that will be what I'll talk about later to keep us going. Okay. So the exercise will be a visualization, but this is the last. This is about gaining your focus. What do I think I cannot do or have? These are the questions. And if you have, you can also get these slides. So I don't know if Kirsten will provide them, but I can definitely share them with you all. This is a good exercise to do with a friend or with somebody that you trust. It's a way of like talking it out. If you're a spewer, if you're somebody who likes to talk things out and hear your voice and hear someone communicate back to you, this is an exercise that you can use. What do I think I cannot do or have? And then the other person will repeat it back. I hear that your judgment words are. Like they're gonna reiterate what your judgment words are for you. And you could do it to yourself too. You can like write it down. When have I not been ready, but had to do it anyway? Let's share miracles that have happened when feeling ready was not what we experienced. So really recount times in your life where you just did it and it worked out. And it was like, wow, I was not ready for that. Or I kind of freaked out, but I made myself do it. And how can I rewrite failure as worth the risk? Because this is where the why comes in. And for instance, the hairdresser who maybe doesn't really want to tell their family member that they're not going to be there in that way anymore, and that they're going to then have to create their own boundaries to make sure that that doesn't happen for them. They may or may not say it, may just do the boundaries, but why is it worth it to them to do that? Maybe it's helping their health. Like there may be reasons, there might be things coming up for them that they can really be like, now I can concentrate on my health, whatever it is. Okay, so we're going to do a visualization. And I just ask you to take a deep breath, and you can close your eyes. Let yourself breathe in through the nose and let the belly bloat up away from the spine, and exhale through the mouth. Breathing in through the nose, let the belly bloat up, and exhale through the mouth. Let the belly sink back into the spine as you exhale. And just imagine, as your eyes are closed, that smoke is coming out of your mouth as you exhale. Your belly is sinking back. All the tension from your forehead all the way down into your belly is exiting your mouth through the breath, and the smoke coming out of you is floating away. You feel your forehead drop toward your chin as you exhale. The skin of your neck drop toward the bottom of your ribs, and your belly sinks back. And as you breathe in, you feel the space in the belly, so much so that it gravitates up the back of the body, up to the top of the head. This space is open for new. And as you exhale, you let go all of the stress. I want you to come back, feeling how you're sitting. Bring your shoulders above your hips and your head above your shoulders. Relax the inner eyes and the jaw. And as you breathe in, imagine that you're breathing in the idea of your confidence. What is it that you propose that you want to be more confident in? And when you think about that thing, just feel how your body reacts. Are you nervous? Whatever feeling arises, place it in your body. And as you exhale, let that feeling exit the body again into an image in front of you as a person standing in front of you, that nervous or whatever feeling person. Give that person a color as if they're shining that color in front of you. What are the words that would come out of this nervous or unconfident person? Allow them to walk away or for you to walk away from them. And as you inhale, breathe in that color, not them, just the color. Let it change and transmute into the feeling that you want to feel instead. It may change color. Place it in the body again. Breathe out any stress. Breathe in more of the confidence. And the feeling that you actually want to feel. Maybe it's powerful, maybe it's strong. Let that color exude you, like fill you up and go outside of you and fill the room that you're in. And take a deep inhalation and a deep exhalation through the mouth. And one more. Imagine what you would have to say to yourself to feel more of that. Maybe it's just, I'm powerful. I'm strong. I can do this. I have a reason. Okay. And your next inhalation, open your eyes. Thank you for trying that out with me if you did. So that is really just one part of this. It's trying to get back into the body, trying to feel what those feelings would really be, and try to really listen to that, to what's happening internally with you, because that's so important. Okay, so setting up boundaries. I don't think we're that far ahead. I guess we are. So setting up boundaries. Okay, so containerize is one of the tools. Care package. And like I said, this whole confidence toolkit, care package is kind of the foundation of it. And ritual taps into your power and connects you to your knowing. Containerize is the structure. So I'm going to go over containerize because it is the basis of the next work after confidence toolkit. It is the basis, the biggest work of the next step. And containerize starts off your ability for holding consent and setting boundaries. It's the structure. And if you don't know what the structure, just like not taking inventory, if you don't know the structure, you can't gauge where the boundary is around the structure. So you'll see I have a grid, and containerize is really about, you can think of it as time. So if you're doing anything, for instance, this meeting right now, before this meeting, during this meeting, after this meeting. So you'll notice right before, the middle part, the event, and right after. So that's what this is right here. That's the peach colored part. Then way before, it's kind of like the stuff you come into everything with, your fears. Like, why are you unconfident? Well, it's probably your fears. It's probably also your story. So that's the next part. And then your new focus, like refocusing, like, okay, that's my story, that's my history, that's my past. Um, what do I need to be in this moment right now? How do I refocus myself to what's important? And then underneath is your old habits of processing. So this is like after the event. After the event, your old way of processing what happened. Just think about, okay, if this had happened before, what would I have said to myself? What would I have felt? Um, and then ask yourself, what have I learned? Instead of like, oh, I failed, oh, I'll never do this again, oh, that's horrible, and stopping yourself, but like maybe this was good. And then your new focus after the fact, like, oh, okay, this gives me more information. So I have a quote from Albert Einstein: failure is success in progress. So that really means like your journey, your life is a process, not a destination. And that's why confidence is not static, it's not set in stone. So this is a little exercise you can do for something that you may be working around, maybe facing those people that you can't stand up to. Like hone it down to some really specific incident and be like, okay, if they call me, if they text me, if I have to see them at that party, that kind of thing. And really hone it down and just go through this grid to kind of give you a clarity of, okay, I'm going to set myself up right. To know the other thing about containerize is it's knowing when things start and stop. Sometimes that's hard, right? So right before the event. So what is the event? The event might be kind of ambiguous. So this is why this is important, because that sets the event itself is a boundary. And so you might be like, well, I'll go to the event if, I'll go to the event when, I'll leave the event if, I'll leave the event when, that kind of thing. Okay, care package. This again is big foundation of this work. And the most important part is your basic needs. And I laugh because yesterday I didn't sleep well because I'm always working on my confidence. So what are your basic needs? Sleep, hydration, nourishment, emotional stability, and physical comfort. And there's probably a whole bunch of other things. Your overall health. Where are your supports? Think of your safety. Like, what do you need to be there? What are your expectations? What are you coming with? And be really honest with yourself, because you might be assuming something that's not true and then really surprised when you get there or do something. Sorry, I said, who can you call? Ghostbusters. I mean, that's kind of like, who do you need on your side? What do you need on your side? And how will you lift yourself up? So these are like the things that you bring, your toolkit, that you're like, okay, if this happens, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have this. And ritual. So this is a little cute thing, but it's a way of remembering to do these, because I think rituals are things we do, but we don't realize we do. We might set a candle for something, we might put on music to make ourselves feel better. We might call that friend. These are kind of, although they're care packages, there might be a symbolic thing that helps us remember who we are, what's important. And so senses are really important in this, bringing the unknown into the known in a physical form, whether it be something you could touch, smell, taste, all of that. And it brings you back to your why, or brings you back to why you're even doing this. Like, what is it that you really want? And so it should remind you of that. I want to go back. So The containerize is, it's 111. um, the containerize, you can actually put rituals and care packages within this grid. Like, okay, to combat my fears, I will do this. To tell a different story, I will do these things for myself, and I will have this ritual, or I'll paste a reminder so I know to do this when this is happening. So that's what the grid is for, is to kind of pack it with things that you'll do. Like, first, the container is knowledge, it's a structure that you can then build on with care, with your care, and with ritual, with affirmation, all those things. Okay. So what will keep you strong on your path? Well, I keep on saying your why. And I think the why is kind of hard because sometimes, well, first off, it can change. And for instance, I'll give you an example. Feel free to say in the comments anything that comes to mind um, when it comes to your why. Like, what is it that you really want to see, and why? Like, what is driving you? Do you just want to feel better, right? So when I started my business 11 years ago, it was for autonomy. Like, I felt like I was being controlled all over in my life, everywhere. And the first place I needed to get out was my work environment. I needed to go on my own and do it my own way. I thought that would help me. I think it was probably saved my life. So I felt driven to do that. I felt like I couldn't not do that. So sometimes your why is that, sometimes it pushes you from the outside in a certain way. Sometimes it's an inner, I think it's all an inner thing. That's how you perceive something. But when I came out as polyamorous, it was about really for others. I mean, I felt like I was closeted and I didn't know. And I was like, wow, so many people are experiencing this and they don't even know that. For so long, I was like not myself. And I didn't know how much. And I felt for everybody else. So I knew I had to be out because representation is so important. So your why might be really for not just yourself, whether you like it or not, maybe for everybody else. And that's a push. That's a push from an inside out, which is great. Ritual reminders. So I was saying, like, affirmations and ritual can bring you to your why. And here's an exercise you'll get if you sign up online. Um, it's not available in the packet that I provided Kirsten, because that one's a little shorter. But it's a way of writing affirmations that get at your why. So I'm just going to give you an example. It's, what do you want to accomplish? My focus is to be confident in holding my boundaries when I notice the line has been crossed. And then number 2, purpose. How important is it to you and why? So this kind of gets at the why, right? Like, my purpose is rooted in my realization that I have been avoiding difficult decisions by stonewalling my partner. Like, it's really specific on a specific, like, um, scenario that's happening in your life. I want to represent myself and my partners by showing them how I need to be treated with my needs and actions. And then the third is be specific. What are you willing to do? And how will you know you are there? So it's like, who do you need to be your why, right? It's really getting at, what is it that you need to be? I am willing to love myself enough to risk being alone in order to show others how I need to be treated. So that's huge. That means, like, I've changed my fear into a reason, really. I will know I am there when I am secure enough to quickly stand up for myself with barely any thought. That's huge. I mean, that's a work in process in itself. So ritual is about your power. And this is how to put ritual back into the container so that you can support yourself in doing the things you need to do. Affirmation, this is another way of moving a negative into a positive. You always fail at everything you try. Each experience is a stepping stone to success. I learn with every attempt, moving closer to my goals. So this is also in the bigger packet if you sign up at raylifecoaching.com/free-resources. Again, it's free. Next steps. Quickly, we're going to go into questions or any comments after this, but stop apologizing for who you are. So the next step is the Manifesting Magic Manual. It is really jam-packed with stuff. But it goes over no longer being codependent, or at least knowing what you're doing that is showing codependence, and or knowing what other people are doing that are like mirroring that. Hold consent and set boundaries, and even know what those things are. Have honestly hard conversations. I actually think this is the most important part, but everybody goes, what? Because no one wants to have hard conversations. And feeling amazing in your skin, because that's what comes when you do this work. You're just like, wow. You literally may step into a room and people will go, wow. Okay, so I'm gonna move this to questions. And here you are. So if you have any questions, please feel free. I am really interested in feedback today. This probably whole year I'll be doing live and free conversations in person and online. So what I'm looking for is whether or not it's helping you, really. And I want to know what works for you. So even if you don't ask any questions today, please feel free to reach out to me, either Facebook Messenger or email. You'll find it on my website. Again, it's raylifecoaching.com. So feel free in the comments or just unmute yourself and talk. I would love that. Okay, so we're going to share the screen again because we're almost done. Okay, so like I said, I have free talks, and the topics are the Confidence Toolkit, Manifesting Magic Manual, which is the one you just saw in the previous two slides, and what is polyamory. And I have a Facebook Live, so you can go to the QR code, and pretty much it's just Ray Life Coaching, facebook.com/Ray Life Coaching. I think it's / events, but just go to my events page and you'll see them. You'll also see the live ones already recorded if you want to go back. And thank you so much for showing up today. Again, there's free stuff on my website. Feel free to contact me. And see another chat. Yeah, there is a lot to process. And again, feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Thank you so much, everybody. I think we're pretty much done. If no one has any questions or wants to talk, that's where we're at. Hopefully it was helpful.
Thank you, Ray, and thank you for everyone for coming.
We'll close out.